This is how I find the story and edit the sneak peek. Let's go. All right, so the first step is going to be setting up a library and then a project. And then I'm going to save it to my drive, obviously, because it can be way easier to work off of that drive than to work off my desktop. Project. We can call that one the same thing. All right, now once we get the project, I'm going to import all of my footage, starting with my A camera. Okay, so now that I have a timeline fully assembled of all of my A cam, now I'm gonna have to start putting in my B cam, my drone footage, syncing up audio, but the first step is to get everything in there, get it lined up, get it looked at, and then go from there. So I like to put in these gray markers right here. This just helps separate everything so I can kind of see what I'm working on. So I know that this long file right here, this is going to be the ceremony itself. I like to film the ceremony all just in one long clip. This makes it easier later for syncing up audio. I'll just put the audio in and it's one long clip. So I won't cut during the ceremony and I'll just sync it up later and it's a lot faster. All right, and here is my B cam. All right, and then you can see here, same thing for B cam. It's gonna be one long clip for the ceremony, just all the way through. And then so we'll have speeches and toasts and prayers and everything else after that. All right, drone footage, gonna drop that in there. Drone footage is really fun. It's really cool to start. It's a great filler, but it's not gonna be your main narrative, but it definitely can help intro the whole thing. Okay, so for audio, I was recording off the DJ's board. So we've got the Zoom right here. Some pretty long files, and I'll be going back and syncing those up here in a minute. And then I had it's a DJI mic like the one I've got on now with a cable running up, lapel mic. So that I had one on the pastor as well as one on the officiant. Just redundancy. All right, now so for speeches, so I've got the toasts and the prayer. I've got all of the A and B cam already sunk up. I've got the audio underneath of it, so I can listen kind of through that and kind of decide what is going to be a really good moment. Maybe I want that for the sneak peek. Maybe I'm just going to save that later for the highlight film, or if I'm just going to give the couple, the entire speech there at the reception or the entire ceremony. It's good to do the work once instead of doing it 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. It's better to sync it up one time, and then you can always go back and pull from that if you need to.
They set them up on a blind date, mutual friends, and set them on a blind date. It didn't go very well.
So I really like that moment there. I think that's awesome. I'm not going to use it for the sneak peek, but I'm going to keep that in my mind for later on. I might put a little marker right here, but I know that for the highlight film, I think that's going to be awesome. It shows a lot of personality. It shows the couple. I think that's really cool.
Thank you, Lord, for letting us all be able to come out here. And we always say, where in the world is out here? What are you talking about? But he says it anyway. And so now it's become a little inside joke with our family.
So again, that is an awesome moment. It shows a lot of personality, it shows a lot of the family, and that's really cool. But I'm probably just going to say that I don't think I'm going to grab it for the ceremony. So I'm going to start listening now back through the ceremony. A lot of times you can jump to speeches because there's a lot of, like I said, it's a good moment. It's just some good personality. But I think for this wedding, I like what the pastor said at the beginning. I might use that for the sneak peek. Let's see.
Family and friends, welcome to this wonderful day.
There. That's it. We got it right there. So that's how we're going to start off the sneak peek. And let's build it from there. Okay, so the next step is going to be finding music, and this can take a long time. Thankfully, I have just purchased the year-long subscription of Audio, and that's Audio spelled with 2 I's in case you're looking for it, audio.com. And this is not paid in any way. I just really like what they have. I love their link match AI feature. So what I did was I found a song that I really liked on YouTube, and then I went into Audio Match AI and I put that song in, and then it gave me a couple options to choose from. And from there, I came up with this one, which I really like, and I think I'm going to use this one for the sneak peek. So you can see it's really cool. I've got, this is the previous couple, so I got Sarah and David, that was a different wedding. Then I've got just a wedding folder, and then I've got like docu and testimonies kind of folders. So it's really neat. Like as you're listening to it, you'll kind of start to hear your style of music and what you really like using, and then start putting that into different playlists, for different projects for future things. This is really cool. So then you go into Elements and you can download the entire stem, but look, bass, drum, guitar, instrumental, piano, vocals, wind, you can customize any of those features, which is amazing. This is a game changer. So I pulled out the bass and the drums, and I brought down the wind a little bit because I felt like that was doing something funky. I cut the track in the middle and I brought it back in just for kind of for that climax that I like the sound of it. Okay, so that was really cool. So then just kind of match the audio, doing a little bit more of a climax. I just threw in the people cheering, and that was just from my shotgun mic. So it's always good to have extra audio on the day, because that's gonna, you never know where you can use it. You never know. Okay, so for your next step, you're gonna be adding in your B-roll. And that's right, we try to build the story, build the entire narrative through people talking, you know, speeches, prayers, you know, something from the ceremony, and then music. Try to do that first. This is the opposite of how I normally do things, but I'm really finding that if you can kind of build the story, especially when you've only got 60 seconds, like build the narrative and then put in your B-roll later, because chances are you've already got amazing shots anyway. You just gotta find the story and then put that B-roll on top of it, and that's icing on the cake. So I found with my sneak peeks that I like to have a lot of shots. I try to kind of go linearly, try to, you know, tell the whole story if I can. So because of that, I have to have smaller clips. So usually around 2 seconds, 2 to 3 seconds, somewhere in there. Usually for my sneak peek, that's what I do. For my highlight film, I might do about 4 seconds. I really try to time it to the music, but that's a great place to get started. All right, little tip here. If you put in your B-roll and then color it later, once you've already assembled everything looks really good, it's not gonna bog down your computer and start going really, really slow because it's having to render and constantly update and then change because you have already colored the footage. Color your footage last. That's the opposite of what I normally do. I color my footage first because I love it and it looks so cool. And I'm like, yeah, I did a good job and the B-roll looks amazing. But that's not the most important part. The most important part is gonna be the story, and then add your B-roll on top of that, and that's when it's really gonna shine. Okay, so your final step now is to watch this multiple times over and over again and just like adjust any little bit, you know, here and there. You might be on a time crunch, you might be on a delay, but you're gonna feel so much better if you take the time, take a look at it, take a breather, walk away, come back. Have somebody else take a look at it with you. I usually have my wife take a look at it and she might bring up a few things. If you have to defend yourself, you didn't do a good job of editing. So keep that in mind. If somebody else sees something, take it, learn from it. It's really nice if you can have another set of eyes to take a look at it. And then drop in your logos and you're good to go.